people who lost all the advanced knowledge, they knew, hey, if we go to these sites, at least we can feel better, you know?
Yeah, that's just incredible. And we truly did walk 118, 120 miles. I mean, one thing about the Egypt trip, it's not for those that want to sit around and be on a couch. I mean, you're up at sometimes 3 a.m, 3:30, and it's go. And most days you're up at 5:30, have breakfast, then you go to a site, and you go to several sites actually. And it was pretty warm too when we were there. It was pretty warm, and it's going to test you physically. But I tell you, just adjusting from the jet lag for me, I did feel exuberant energy once I got to the temples and the sites. It does have some kind of magnifying power that makes you just feel alive. And I think that's what people, when they go to Egypt on this trip, or when you go away from that, it's kind of a letdown. It's kind of like you fall off a cliff and you're like, okay, what do I do now? Because it was so exciting to hear and learn more and more, right? So
I know.
And
even for me, and I've been there so many times, even for me.
Yeah. You know? And the only way to experience is to go. There's just no other way.
Yeah.
So Billy, there's a lot of myth behind, the sarcophagus and everything. So connect the myth and the science together, because obviously a lot of mythical things are actually the truth and a lot of the other things are not. But the science, a lot of people want to know, okay, so what's the science of these? The Renaissance, certain magnetism, they had to use certain frequencies and energy. What do you think the science is behind the sarcophagi? What do you think?
First of all, I took my Geiger counter down there when we went beneath the ground to the Serapeum, which I call the Halls of Amensi for Enki.
Sure.
And my Geiger counter, as I walked down, if we started going down those probably 2 stories down, it started making the loud beep. It was already beeping. It was already going doo, 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 doo. It started going crazy. People were like, what is that noise? I said, I got a Geiger counter on me. For those of you who don't know, the Geiger counter picks up higher than background level radiation. And I was picking up rads, and as I got close to some of the boxes and these megalithic diorite covers and the crystal diorite boxes, the thing just started going off the charts. We went into that locked room in the back with that super crazy 1,100-ton diorite sarcophagi, and when I put my Geiger counter on it, it just went crazy. And on the front of the lid, though, there's a radiation symbol. So these things, in some way, they knew how to harness the radiation in these boxes. They were like gigantic batteries of some sort, powering this entire underground hall chamber. They were all interlinked. Okay, they were all interlinked. There was electrum on the walls and across and covering the alcove of the hall that they sat in. Electrum was then removed, and you can see where the bars of electrum were removed from the ceiling and from the walls. So we were standing inside of a giant machine, a machine that served multifunctions, most likely the healing properties to heal and rejuvenate bodies. The second function is probably some part of the energy grid of that entire huge plateau area, all the way from Saqqara back to Giza. And then a third function could be, who knows, portal technology. So this is the way I like to explain it. Okay, we all have a computer. We have a computer, right? A PC or a Mac. Now, depending on your level of knowledge, you might be able to use that computer to check emails only. You know how to log in, check an email, and reply to an email. And that's about, or maybe you can do a couple of Google searches. That might be your highest level of knowledge, and you're using a computer that costs $3,000. Another person can come to that same computer, and they can actually access that computer, and they can actually pull up architectural designs. They can reconstruct engineering designs. They can build something in the computer that can then manifest through an engineer in real world. Another person can come and do astrophysics and even design a nuclear weapon on a computer, right? So same computer that one person only knows how to do email, another person can create a missile that can go into space. So it's understanding the levels of knowledge that go along with this one multifunctional machine. And that's why the base level knowledge is just wellness and healing. That's all we can remember, but there's so much more that it can do.
Boy, that's really good stuff. I mean, that's really great. Another, we talk about, I don't know if we discussed this, the there's certain people in the Bible that show up. Did we discuss that yet or not? I don't
No,
know.
not yet.
Well, like, so Thoth would say he goes in the chamber and he'd go out and to walk among men in a different body.
Mhm.
Same with Inky, whatever. Like Elijah in the Bible, no one knows his mother or father. He just shows up as a adult male. So does Melchizedek and the angel of the Lord. So do you feel like these things, these beings that show up without a mother or father, and they show up one day, Melchizedek was the king of Salem or the high priest or whatever, and then they just leave one day, but they come to teach the people and enlighten them. And it seems like that was part of Thoth's journey to enlighten humanity.
Yeah.
And he did it through the sarcophagus, and he also traveled through portals to other planets and other worlds.
Yeah.
Give us some perspective on that, if you could.
Yeah, there are quite a few beings that are mentioned in biblical text, the Quran, in the ancient Egyptian text, and in the Sumerian tablets that somehow don't have mothers or fathers, or either don't have a father, depending on which story it is. And so we begin to see this this repeated system of these people in the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is the real true story of Noah and the Ark. It's a much bigger, broader story. It's been taught in universities now. Finally, it's being like a well-known epic. It's an ancient Sumerian epic, actually. And in this epic, Gilgamesh, who's a giant, who's actually half human and half Anunnaki, he goes out in this hero's journey, but Enlil sends him out, but he says, I'll fashion someone for you. I'll fashion you a companion. That means I'm going to create something, almost like I'm going to make somebody. So they make Enkidu, and they make this person out of thin air. They build him, and he's also a strong megalithic giant, but they say he has no mother and he has no father. He's a, Yeah, he's a giant.
They're both giants, yeah.
They're both giant. So they create, so there are people that have been manifested or created that didn't come from a womb, because they said he never came from a womb of a woman. And so we see this repeated over and over again. So we must assume that in some way, shape, or form, there are people that were coming here that either came from other places, other planets. So we don't know who their parenting was, who reared them.